let's talk about productivity for a second. What if it wasn't this chore? What if it wasn't about cramming more work into your day, but actually about creating more life in your day? What if it was the key to unlocking the time and energy to do what you truly love? That's the big idea behind the Productivity Project, so let's dive in. This quote from Chris Bailey just flips the whole idea on its head, right? Productivity isn't about being more efficient for the sake of work. It's about freedom. It's the difference between dragging yourself to the couch at the end of the day, completely drained, and finishing your day with a full tank, ready to do something you're actually passionate about. So, how did Bailey get to this pretty profound idea? Well, it wasn't some sudden light bulb moment. It was a journey, a real, honest-to-goodness quest. So picture this. Bailey just graduated, and he's got these two fantastic job offers on the table. The paved paths, right? The safe bets. But instead of taking one, he did something kind of crazy. He was inspired by this idea called a desire path. You know, those dirt trails that cut across a lawn because that's the shortcut everyone actually takes? He decided to follow his own desire path. He launched a year-long project to figure out productivity, with himself as the main experiment. But, like any good quest, it wasn't all smooth sailing. He hit a major roadblock right at the beginning, something I think we all fall into, the autopilot trap. Early on, Bailey made what seemed like a logical, but ultimately a huge mistake. He looked at his daily meditation practice and thought, wait a minute, I'm just sitting here, doing nothing. This is the opposite of productive. So he cut it. I mean, it makes sense, right? Productivity is about doing stuff. Fast, yeah. Wrong. So wrong. The results were not great. In fact, they were immediate. Without that time to just slow down, he found himself working on autopilot. He was less focused, his mind was cluttered, and he even started losing excitement for this passion project he'd bet his career on. The irony is just perfect, isn't it? In his big push to be more productive, he actually became less productive. And that whole experience brought him to this really fundamental question. One that, let's be honest, we've all screamed into our pillows at 2 a.m. Why on earth do we put things off, even the stuff we actually want to do? Well, the book explains this as this epic battle raging inside our heads. In one corner, you've got your limbic system. Think of it as your inner toddler. It's impulsive, it's emotional, and it wants what it wants right now, like one more episode of that show. And in the other corner, you have the prefrontal cortex, the adult in the room. It's logical, it's the planner, it knows you've got a report to finish. Procrastination? That's just what we call it when the toddler wins. And listen, this happens to everybody. Get this, in the very same week that TED.com called Bailey the most productive man you'd ever hope to meet, he actually tracked his time. And what did he find? He had procrastinated for 6 full hours. 6 hours. So yeah, if you think you're alone in this battle, you are definitely not. So this whole struggle led him to the big aha moment of the entire project. He realized that real, sustainable productivity isn't about willpower or some fancy new app. It boils down to just 3 core ingredients. And here they are. This is the foundation of the whole thing: time, attention, and energy. The big discovery was that you can't just focus on one. They're like a 3-legged stool. You try to balance on just one or two, and the whole thing comes crashing down. First up, you've got time. This one's pretty straightforward. It's the container, right? It's the 24 hours we all get. But here's the catch. You can't make more of it. It's finite. And that's exactly why just rearranging your calendar, well, it's not the whole solution. Then there's attention. This is your focus. If time is the container, attention is what you choose to put in it. It's the rudder on your ship. Without it, you could have all the time in the world, but you're just drifting, getting pulled around by every notification and distraction that comes your way. And the final piece of the puzzle? Energy. This is your fuel. It's what powers everything else. You can have a perfectly scheduled day, that's your time, and a clear goal, that's your attention, but if your gas tank is on empty, you are going absolutely nowhere. Okay, so the framework makes sense. Time, attention, energy. But what do we do with that? How do you make it work in real life? Let's get practical. Okay, one of the simplest but most powerful tools in the whole book is what Bailey calls the Rule of 3. It's so simple. At the start of your day, or even the night before, Just mentally fast forward to the evening. Ask yourself this one question. When this day is done, what 3 things will I want to have accomplished? Write them down. That's it. It forces you to define what a win looks like for the day and focus your attention there. All right, now let's talk energy. Bailey brings up this fantastic concept called your biological prime time. The key insight here is that your energy is not some flat line all day. It has peaks and valleys. For most of us, it looks something like this. You've got a big peak in the morning, then that classic afternoon slump, and maybe a little bounce back later on. So what's the big takeaway here? It's genius in its simplicity. Stop trying to cram your most important work into any random open slot in your calendar. Instead, match your most challenging, brain power-intensive tasks to when you're naturally at your peak. It's about working with your body's rhythm, not constantly fighting against it. And all of this, it brings us to the real fundamental point of the whole project. This isn't about turning you into some hyper-efficient productivity machine. No, it's about something way more important, way more human. This quote from Bailey really says it all. All these tricks, all these tactics, they exist to help you get the stuff you have to do done, and done faster. Why? So you can free up more time, more attention, and more energy for the things that are actually meaningful in your life, your family, your hobbies, your passion. So in the end, productivity isn't really the goal, it's the tool. It's the key that unlocks the door to a more intentional life. And that really leaves just one question for you. When you have more time, more attention, and more energy, what are you going to do with it?